Now, I know it's been a couple of days since I've done a true crime video. It's because, let's be honest here, with a lot of the stories that currently exist, we're not getting a lot of updates, but we have got a few. I'm here to present them to you. Tomorrow, I will be doing a deep dive into the Delphi murders. It's actually a video I've never done on any of my channels before, but it's a story I'm heavily interested in. So tomorrow, you can look for something a little bit different. Guys, I'm JB Gunner. This is JB Gunner TV. Today, we're going to jump right in to the LeiLani Simon, Quentin Simon, Billie Joe thing. We'll touch on the Idaho murders, but you guys know how it is. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
Bring it back.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, and this is JB Gunner TV. This is the crime channel. And for you guys that do not know, I have recreated a bunch of new channels for you guys that like my political and social commentary. Feel free to hit the links down below and check out them channels, as well as my gaming, my anything that you don't see, including my live streams. I know I've been doing my live streams on this channel, but now we're going to move it over to the live stream channel where you'll see the live streams and the clips. Now, with that being said, we're going to jump right into this. But guys, I do want to say thank you to everybody that supports my channels, supports everything we do here. Thank you to the Gun Squad. Guys, I could not do this each and every day as often as I do without you. So whether you support on Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, you guys are the fucking reason this goes. So thank you. And if you too like what I do, if my message, if my content is value to you, feel free to hit the links down below and do that. We will be live tonight at 8 p.m. on the JB Gunner live channel. Also, second hour Odyssey and Rumble where I can speak freely. Make sure you guys sign up for my Odyssey and Rumble, and also make sure that you guys sign up for my Twitter. That way you get updates if YouTube kicks me off again or anything like that. All right, let's get into this story, because today we're going to be talking about LeiLani Simon, Billie Joe. We're going to be talking about Quentin Simon, because it's official that Quentin Simon's remains have been identified by the FBI. So it's official. She actually did throw the little motherfucker away. Like, I don't even know what, I can't fathom that. I still stand behind my original theory that she's not the murderer, even though they have arrested her for murder. And if you guys don't know about that, let's go ahead and jump right into this, because that's what we've seen. They've seen LeiLani Simon arrested for murder. Let's go ahead and check this out before we get into the rest of it.
Tonight, Chatham County Police announcing the arrest of Quentin Simon's mother, LeiLani Simon, and charging her with murder.
The Chatham County Police Department held a media conference less than an hour ago. Our Olivia Wild joins us now live from the Chatham County Police Department. Olivia, what more can you tell us?
Shannon, good evening. Chief Hadley was visibly emotional while talking with us about the arrest of 22-year-old LeiLani Simon, the mother of 20-month-old Quentin Simon, who went missing back in October. Most notably, they revealed they found remains in the landfill. The FBI could not specify if they were human remains. They did emphasize that. They are being sent to a testing lab in Virginia to see if, one, they're human, and two, if the DNA on them do belong to Quentin.
And we'll talk about that here in just a second. I do want to reiterate that I do not believe LeiLani Simon killed anyone. I believe that there was an accident, and I believe she hid the body. But I also believe that by jumping the gun and arresting her, because remember, unless they got some information we don't know about at this point, all they've done is found his remains. And now they've identified it, which that's the breaking news, I guess, that exists today. But they've identified it, but there's still no real evidence. There's evidence, particularly that she could have hid the body. And yes, that is a crime, but that's not murder. You may get her for the false reporting and things of that nature, but I see no clear path where you can get her for murder. This is the Casey Anthony case all over again. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree, because I hear you guys. I see you guys in the comment section say, she's a murderer. No, actually she's not. And there's not even a drop of evidence leading or pointing to the fact that she is a murderer. Scumbag? Maybe. Whore? Maybe. Dope fiend? Maybe. Scumbag that threw her baby away? Possibly, probably. Murderer? You guys cannot present to me a single piece of evidence or a single argument showing that she murdered anyone. More than likely, this is just the dumb hoe syndrome, where she was sitting there partying and slept all day. He probably walked right out into the swimming pool. She woke up, saw his little dead body. She had 2 probations at the time. She got scared, said, fuck it, I'm gonna throw the baby away. And I think that's exactly what we saw. Let's go ahead and continue.
When it comes to other people involved in this case, the chief said that Billie Joe, the grandmother, has been ruled out. They do not plan on making any arrests. When it comes to why they decided to arrest LeiLani today, here's what he had to say.
We had every belief that Quentin was there in the landfill. Having found what we found on Friday and the preliminary findings from the FBI that we got today led us to make an arrest today.
So the FBI must have suggested that LeiLani did it. But once again, though, it's your money that has to charge this woman. It's your county's money that has to charge and eventually convict this woman. And I, at least at this point, haven't seen any evidence that she did anything illegal other than dispose of a dead body, which is a crime, and lie to the police, which is a crime. I'm not 100% sure that any of those things are felonies, and then, well, I guess it could be. And looking at what she's been charged with, I don't see how they can convict her on anything that's going to send her down the river for a long time. I'm just being honest here.
And because the remains that were found are not confirmed human, we did ask the chief if he plans to continue that landfill search.
They were confirmed,
he said they
by the
have
way.
not made a decision either way. Greg.
Well, they did.
Olivia, there are so many questions surrounding this case. Did the chief talk about a motive?
Shannon, there were limited things that he could answer. He also gave a shout out to us that we had been covering this very strongly. But I do want to say, when asked if he thought this was accidental, he said he couldn't comment. But we did hear him make a very strong statement that he didn't believe LeiLani deserved a Thanksgiving. So a very strong statement. He also said,
so that's why they took him. No, let me say this. What do you mean no comment? They asked you, do you believe that it was done by accident? And you said, I can't comment on that. What the fuck do you mean? You charged her with murder. Murder means you don't believe it was an accident. Malicious murder here in Georgia, it's the equivalent of your guys' first degree murder everywhere else. Malicious murder essentially is you intended to do it and you maliciously sought out to end these people's lives. That is the truth about malicious murder here in Georgia. Like, it's insane for you to sit there, I don't know if it was an accident or not, bro. You better know, because you're about to use taxpayer dollars to try to convict this broad.
as they have a lot of evidence to prove the charges brought forward against her. Shannon.
All right, thanks so much. Still a lot of unanswered questions we will be answering for people. It's been weeks since Quentin Simon went missing, so let's get you up to speed on what led up to his disappearance and what's happened since then. Over the last few months, hundreds of law enforcement officers have searched for 22-month-old Quentin Simon. October 5th is when Quentin was first reported missing.
By the way, just so you guys know, we will be covering this trial from minute one, the entirety of the trial. We will be covering the entirety of the LeiLani Simon trial. And I guarantee you, I'm going to give you commentary that's going to be way different from everybody else. That's the truth.
Days later, police said there could be a criminal element to the case.
Could be.
In the days after, FBI agents and investigators canvassed his home, even drained the backyard pool. On October 12th, Chatham County Police named LeiLani Simon as the prime suspect, but didn't arrest her until today. On October 18th, FBI experts started searching the landfill. Police said they believe someone threw Quentin into a dumpster. Now, for more information on the Quentin Simon case, we've made a detailed timeline on our website that includes arrests, shifts in the investigation, different search areas, analysis from legal experts, and so much more. Just visit our website. That's WJCL.com.
Now, so that's what we got there. Okay, we clearly got that situation. LeiLani Simon was arrested. And we got the breaking news that happened today that human bones found in Georgia landfill are those of missing toddler Quentin Simon. The FBI has now confirmed this Just 1 week after Mom, I don't know why the Daily Mail puts this, who downed shots during a, well, yeah, I would get drunk too. You guys are lucky. The whole reason you didn't get this story from me yesterday is because I got a little bit too tipsy my goddamn self. But it's always tripped me out how you guys like criticize these people for having dinner and a drink. Bro, what are they supposed to do? Starve? Like I don't see how she can take the knockback shots. Well, bitch, she was facing murder charges. Everybody in the world thought she killed her baby. That's exactly when you should drink. Right? It's crazy. But during Hunt for Youngster was charged with her son's murder. Of course, we all know this. But the FBI has confirmed the identity of the DNA.
Greg, good evening. FBI agents confirm bones found in a Savannah landfill earlier this month are those of the missing Savannah toddler, Quentin Simon. Police found the partial remains on November 18th. They spent more than a month searching a Savannah landfill for
Dude, gay, that dude's got so much sugar in his tank. They spent more than a month. So sugary. Man, men are losing, man. Men are losing.
Quentin Simon's remains. Today, agents said operations at the landfill have now ended. Quentin's mother, LeiLani Simon, this woman here, is facing several charges in Quentin's disappearance. We are following her case. Her next court date is set for January 11th. Greg.
Marcus, thanks so much. And we have more coverage on the disappearance of Quentin Simon available on our website at wjcl.com, including the dispatch call made moments after he was reported missing.
Yeah, we've already
Telling
heard of that.
interview with the child's grandmother. You can find it all on our website at wjcl.com.
That's cool. That's awesome. Now, so we do have the confirmation, which that was a big, that's big when it comes to the story, right? Because there always was the possibility that the remains weren't human or weren't Quentin Simon's. And it's good that the little fella's been found and it could be properly dealt with. Quentin Simon was reported last month, and his mother, LeiLani, was arrested last week on charges including murder. Chatham County Police said on November 21st that they had arrested Simon on charges that including murder and concealing the death of another person. The only thing that I think that they will convict her of is concealing the death of another person. The FBI and DNA analysis to confirm the bones found in landfill site belonged to 20-month-old Quentin. The remains that were determined to be Quentin's were found in a landfill on November 18th. This is a sad ending for this story. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but I don't believe it's near over. I don't believe it's near over, and I think that this woman, Billie Joe, I think she's known the entire time, and I think that she's tiptoed around this, and I believe she has finally turned her back on LeiLani. And once again, I've always defended Billie Joe's defense of her daughter, because that's what a mom should do. And I know a lot of you guys are going to sit there and say, well, what about little Quentin? Yeah, I get that. But the daughter is hers. The daughter came out of her pussy. The daughter, I understand her trying to protect her, and that's what makes the end of this case so disturbing, because as I'm about to show you here in just a second, from the very beginning, LeiLani probably would have got away with all of this. And this is the truth. But her mother has sabotaged her from the very, very start. There's two people in this entire story I dislike heavily. Number one, the babysitter. That fat fuck is constantly on the damn internet trying to get attention. And then number two, Billie Joe. Billie Joe, if you remember right, in the very beginning, the whole reason that anyone even knew the baby was in the landfill is because she's on Facebook talking about it. Remember, she deleted her whole Facebook. Then we have this conversation that she had with the baby's father. Listen.
I feel strongly about that. I feel, honestly and truthfully, Bubba, I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel like there was an accident. I feel like something happened while Quentin was in the bathtub and he drowned and they were both high. That's my theory.
Well, hell, they should just call the police if something like that happened.
If you're high as hell, man, you do stupid shit. Even yourself, you're a different person whenever you...
Now you see clearly.
I'm not defending her. You know what I mean? But I know I'm not the same person on drugs.
Now, so they are both admitting they do drugs and all this other shit, right? Now, I just want you to, oh shit, let me turn this, sorry about that.
Unfortunately.
As you see clearly, from the very beginning, she was fucking up. She was fucking up. She's the one that literally put the information out there. Right there, talking about the potential of drowning in the bathtub, but then also being the original one that said that Quentin Simon was in a fucking landfill. Now she wants to sit here and cry on a damn video.
Why would you assume I did? I've lost so much.
So why were you harboring LeiLani? Well, no. That's because we did care, and I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I had my reservations about this woman, I'm going to be perfectly honest. A lot of this does break down to being her fault. She knew her daughter was a dope fiend. But then again, I don't blame her for letting LeiLani see the kid. It's just, I understand family being family. I understand family doing family shit, but also I'm the same type of person that does not believe that blood intrinsically immediately makes you a family. From my own experiences in life, the people that's been closest to me definitely isn't my fucking bloodline, right? But what I am going to say is that from the very beginning of this woman made mistakes. Now, I don't think Billie Joe deserves to go to prison. I don't think she deserves to be arrested because I don't think she did anything criminal. Now, where I do think she's wrong is what happened here in the very end, because what you're going to see, okay? What you are going to see is right before LeiLani went to jail. You got to understand, LeiLani checked herself out of a rehab. LeiLani was going to run. And do you know who betrayed LeiLani? Billie Joe. And I know a lot of you are sitting there clapping and saying, good, good. No, what is good about that? What is good about her throwing LeiLani under the bus at the last minute? Do I think LeiLani needs to face the music for what she did? Sure, because throwing your baby away after its death is illegal, and I think, yes, she has to face the music. But I don't believe that this woman turning her in, lying to her, grabbing her and sneaking her to the FBI, I don't think that's good when she's facing a charge that she probably did not commit, which is murder. You understand you are risking LeiLani Simon's entire rest of her life. She's only 22. You are risking the rest of her life to go turn her in. And listen, you and me as people watching from the outside, I get it. You want to see LeiLani in jail. I get that. But this is her mom, man. This is her fucking mom. A family friend is detailing the dramatic final hours before Georgia mom LeiLani was arrested for the murder of her toddler son, including her last free meal with her own mother. Simon was arrested on Monday after police announced that they found remains believed to be those of 20-month Quentin. Now listen, speaking to WTOC by phone, Simon's mother, Billie Howe, was too emotional to discuss the case, and she handed the phone to a family friend. The friend, who has not been identified, told the outlet that Simon checked herself into rehab the weeks before her arrest. She was in rehab taking care of that dope fiend problem, right? When Howe heard that Simon was about to leave the facility, she had to make one of the hardest decisions of her life and call the FBI and let them know that she was signing herself out and that she was going to be a flight risk. Let this sink in. LeiLani's own mom called the FBI and said she's signing herself out. She's going to be a flight risk. That is the ultimate betrayal. Let me make this clear. She was never going to be that much of a flight risk because she's broke. This is some broke, dumbass whore. She would have sucked dick on the streets for a couple of months, and then she eventually would have got caught. She would have gotten into a drunken or heated argument with one of her boyfriends like she typically does, and that boyfriend would have called 911 and been like, lock this bitch up. But the mom herself, at the very last minute, did the scummiest shit I could have ever imagined that a mother doing. Does LeiLani need to face the music? Does she need to face trial? Yes. If we're being honest and fair about it. But what did her mom do? Her mom lied and betrayed her. Instead of just letting her fucking, she would have ran out and she would have eventually got caught. Now, maybe Billie Joe was trying to save her life. Maybe she realized, well, if LeiLani gets loose, she's going to kill herself. So in some ways, I got to be open and honest and say, okay, maybe Billie Joe was looking at this from a different perspective, and maybe she was, in her eyes, saving LeiLani's life. At the FBI's request, Howell picked Simon up from the treatment center herself. They asked her to buy some time, so she went and picked up LeiLani's belongings from another center, and then she took LeiLani to have her last free meal. The pair then went to the FBI office in Savannah, where Simon was arrested a few hours later, completely betrayed by her own mother. She's charged with murder, which they will not convict her on, concealing the death of another, which they will convict her on, making a false crime report, which they will convict her on, and making false statements, which they will convict her on. The only thing I think that's in that list that is a felony is murder. I think that maybe the concealment of death could possibly be. But in my honest opinion, that they do not have a murder case here. They don't. Mother of missing toddler arrested after remains found in landfill, which we already know. We got some other things. Quentin Simon's babysitter breaks silence as new details. That's why I can't stand this fat broad. After new details emerge about mom LeiLani's last hours before the arrest, let's see what they got here.
You wonder what he had to endure from the time that he left my house till the morning when I got the text. You know, I can't even imagine. I don't want to think about it because it drives me crazy.
So, now she's basically just said the same.
You wonder what
she's basically just said the same thing she's been saying the whole time. Really didn't break any silence. She just wanted to get her fat face back on the goddamn news. That's the shit I'm talking about. She just wanted to get her face back on the fucking news. That's it. I told you, those are two of the people I dislike. Tragic link between Quentin Simon's cause of death and shocking tip before arrest. What they're going to do is last month, his maternal grandmother, Billie Joe, reportedly told the child's father she believed the youngster could have drowned. It's then been suggested that she also handed police a bombshell tip about her daughter's movements ahead of her arrest. And then basically that's all this is going on about, is about how she betrayed and turned on her daughter. The reality of this is, and let me go back to the main scene for just a second before we get into Idaho. LeiLani Simon is a bad person, but she's mainly a bad person because she's a neglectful parent and stupid dope fiend hoe. She's not a murderer, though. And I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on this, but she's not a murderer, man. I know murder. I've seen murderers, and I'm telling you, she isn't a murderer. She's a scared little girl that's drugs and goofiness got in the way of her parenting. And it happens to a lot of these broads. This is why you got to stop having fucking kids so damn young. The mother here, who was a shitty mother herself, she her entire time, her other son has been incarcerated for murder. Now LeiLani's going for murder. At what point do we look at Billie Joe and say, man, you're a fucking scumbag? You don't know how to parent worth a shit. And at the very end, you betrayed your fucking daughter. For what? You're probably going to say to save her life, but no, to me, you're scum. You were scum throughout this whole thing, talking and talking and talking. You didn't give your daughter a fair chance to fight this shit. You didn't give your daughter a fair chance to fight anything in life. And here, ultimately, at the end, where she's fighting for her freedom and her life, after, in my opinion, an accident that took Quentin. In the very end, you threw her under the bus and you betrayed her when you were all she had left. No wonder your kids are both in prison for this type of thing. Now, this could be the end of this case, and maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. And I think what I'll do, especially since I lost all my other channels, what I'll do is I'll compile all my Quentin Simon videos. And what I think I'll do is I'll just combine them into one giant video, one giant live stream, or one giant premiere video. And I'm just going to give you my coverage of this case from the beginning to the end. Now, ultimately, we still got the trial coming up, and I don't believe that's going to start until next year. So, I'll be there to cover this trial, just like I'll be there to cover the Delphi trial. But let's go ahead and get back over here, because let's give you some updates on the Idaho students. University of Idaho students refuse to return to campus until suspect is caught for brutally murdering 4 suspects in the beds, and school will allow them to finish. So all the kids in this, all the students in this area are scared to death. My man Upgrade, who's a longtime supporter of this channel, he believes this is a serial killer. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't believe it's a serial killer. I believe this is clearly some incel, some simp that wanted to fuck one of the 2 blondes, and ultimately the other 2, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, ended up being victims of circumstance. And let me explain to you why, okay? And let me see if I still got this here. What I want to do is I want to show you, hold on, let me look. I want to show you this right here, which is the blueprint of where these people were killed, okay? Let's take a look right here. We got the 3rd floor, 2nd floor, and 1st floor. Those are the 2 blinds that survived. They were on the 1st floor with the doors locked. Let me show you here in just a second, okay? So here's what we have. On the 1st floor, let's see if I can pull this over here. Down here, where everybody's at on the 1st floor, right here. You got bedroom 1, the living room here. Now, these bedrooms right here that you see right here, these were where the other 2 girls were, the ones that survived. Those doors were locked. And when you move up here to the 2nd floor, you see 2 bedrooms. You see one's the this is the 2nd. No, I'm sorry. This is the 2nd floor. This is the top door. This is the 1st floor where you walk in the door, and then here's the 2nd room. So you had the 2 other girls down here with the doors locked. You go upstairs, you got 1 bedroom on the 2nd floor. That was what you had. And then on the 3rd floor, what you had is 1 bedroom. So essentially what I think you have, remember the 1 blonde was just there visiting. She had already moved out. The 2nd floor is where they stabbed the dude and the girl. Now here's what I believe. I actually do not, I do not believe at all that he came through the sliding door. I think he had the code to the front door. Because as soon as you come in the front door and go up the stairs are right there. As soon as you enter and you go up the stairs, the 1st bedroom that you come to on that 2nd floor right there, you see the 2 floors, you go in that door. As soon as you come up these stairs, because right here is a bedroom. As soon as you come up these stairs, right here will be the bedroom. No, am I right here? No, as soon as you go up the stairs, like right here are where the other 2 girls' bedrooms are. And these doors were locked. There's another floor, and there was 1 bedroom. And hold on, how exactly did that go? Let me look again. There we go. Okay, here's a better layout of the house. Sorry about that. This right here, down here is where the front of the house will be. That's where the key code is, and that's where you walk in, and there's the other 2 bedrooms where the 2 girls that survived were, with the doors locked. Somehow he walked right past them, went up the little steps onto this ramp, into this little area right here. This is where the sliding door also is. So it is possible he came in the sliding door, but right here on the 2nd floor, right here, there was 1 bedroom. That is where the boyfriend and the girlfriend shared a room. Then what happens is you go up here to the 3rd floor, and there's 1 more bedroom. Now, I believe, that's where the 2 blondes were killed. I believe that this person went in, and I believe he was going to kill randomly until he found his target. And so ultimately what you see right here is him going up, the other 2 doors were locked, or maybe he just decided he knew where the girls were. He went straight up, and he hit that 2nd room, killed them, and then went upstairs and got the last ones. Maybe the girls just came back from the drinking like we already know they did. But here's another theory. What if this guy was already in the house? What if they picked him up, or he picked them up, or whatever the case? Remember that the girl called her boyfriend. They were relentlessly calling her boyfriend right before 3 o'clock. What if this dude, the murderer, was in the house already with them, hanging out, and maybe he was getting rejected, turned down, and the girl started calling her ex-boyfriend because they felt uncomfortable? And in my opinion, that's the logic. And let me tell you what I mean. All right, so one starts calling. And then immediately the second girl, when she stops calling, starts calling from her phone. You know what this looks like? Have you ever ignored a phone call? I mean, and then that same person tried to call you from someone else's numbers, hoping that you wouldn't recognize it? That's what I see. That's what I see when I see the 4 phone calls from the ex-girlfriend, and then the 3 phone calls from the ex-girlfriend's friend, and then the ex-girlfriend tries to call 3 more times. In my opinion, this was somebody potentially, not a serial killer. Then once again, this is going to go back to some dude being rejected. And I told you guys this from day one when I saw how attractive these women were. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. When I saw how attractive the women were, particularly the 2 blondes, these 2 right here, I said to myself, yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. Now, don't get me wrong. All of them are young. All of them are nice, attractive young adults. But I just had a feeling, and especially looking at the video of them at the taco truck, these girls are out partying at bars and taco trucks and all this shit in the middle of the night. Seems logical that either someone followed them or that ultimately there was somebody that they let into the party house, they rejected, and he wasn't having that shit. Now, to touch on what Upgraded said, I do agree that it's possible it could be a Danny Rowling type serial killer situation where they're going into sorority houses and targeting young girls. It's very, 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 very possible. No doubt about that. Father of Idaho murder house victim says he has heard nothing from cops since Wednesday, why would they tell you anything? They're in the middle of trying to solve this murder case. And this is one of the things I tell you people here on the internet all the time. Why do you believe so deeply that the police should give you the details of the case? Why would they jeopardize the case by telling you details of the investigation? That makes no sense. Like, who are you that the police should share that information with you so you can go talk about it or tell the media about it or whatever and jeopardize the fucking investigation? And then what'll happen is you cocksuckers will jeopardize the investigation, fuck the investigation up. And then ultimately what you'll do is you'll blame the police and say the police did a horrible job because you fucked up the investigation. Anyway, they had a disastrous press conference where they admitted they had no suspects in the murder of 4, as police say they are withholding information to catch the killer. I don't understand why you guys can't understand that. They're withholding information so they can catch the killer. That seems like good police work. But not to Steve Goncalves. Steve Goncalves, the father of 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves, said he has not heard anything from law enforcement since Wednesday night. It's because they have nothing to update you with. Authorities maintain Goncalves' murder, along with the 3 of her friends, was a targeted attack on at least one of the girls. And like I said, in my opinion, the killer got whoever he killed last was probably the target. Because when he went into this house, unless it was a serial killer, in my opinion, he had a target and he was just going to kill everybody that got in his way till he got to the target. Like he was Michael Myers and that bitch was Laurie Strode. Do you see what I'm saying? Unless it was a psychopath serial killer that was just going to kill everybody. But ultimately, it seems targeted. And I still stick by my initial gut feeling, right? Idaho Police Chief slams rumors swirling over the death of the 4 students, says they do a disservice to the families, and I agree with that completely. And the detectives on the scene have the information, but there's no suspect in custody. I agree with the police chief here. I do. He's openly saying, hey, you guys are fucking up the case. He is openly saying you guys are fucking up the case. All your rumors and shit. You're fucking it up. And what you're wanting, here's the thing. What you're wanting now is you're wanting the cop. You're wanting these people to literally You're wanting the cop to give you information that if he gives it to you, that means the other people that get it is the killers. And that's the thing that you're not understanding. He says it's a delicate question. Police continue to insist Idaho killings were targeted, but refuse to say which student was the intended victim, as they admit they can't confirm if murdered Kaylee had a stalker. Once again, Kaylee was the target. I've said this since the beginning, and you guys may look at me as a dog, but she's the hottest one. Just saying it. Just being honest. In an interview with Daily Mail, Idaho State Police spokesman Aaron Snell said it's possible all 4 victims could have been targeted. I doubt that completely. We still believe it was a targeted attack based on the evidence at the scene and how everything developed. Well, we believe that's accurate. Snell admitted police are still no closer to identifying a murderer and refused to say which of the victims is believed to be the target. He said that's a real delicate question, and when we're able to say that, or if we're able to say that, we'll definitely do that. Police are still unable to corroborate claims that the victim, Kaylee Goncalves, may have had a stalker. Goncalves' pet dog, Murphy, was home at the time of the slayings and is now living with her ex-boyfriend, Jack, and his family in Idaho. Just going to be perfectly honest with you. In my opinion, it's very possible Kaylee could have been the victim. Could have been the target. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. A lot of people are going to sit around here and say, no, this was just, this wasn't some incel or some dude that got rejected. Look, man, I'm telling you right now, people have egos. There is something in one of the victim's orbit that caused this. FBI investigator reveals his theory on Idaho quadruple murder. And this is exactly my theory. This is one individual that was the complete target. Maybe she rejected someone, or she had a stalker, or she had some incel that, was one, if you can't be with me, you're not going to be with anybody else. That type of thing, right? I got to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not eliminating the dude from the video. I know the police eliminated the dude from the video with the hat and the fucking hoodie. I'm not eliminating him. I'm going to be dead honest. As cops respond to increasing reports of unusual circumstances since the stabbings. Bill Daley said that he believes the Idaho quadruple murders were a targeted attack and someone in the slain college students' orbit caused it to happen. Yeah, well, that's obvious, right? It comes as police revealed that there had been an increase in reports of unusual circumstances and requests for welfare checks on the loved ones. The whole town is frightened, scared to death. That's the truth. Let's see if there's any more updates from the news. Let's see what they got.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since the quadruple murders of 4 University of Idaho students shook the nation. Investigators are now clearing up rumors as the high-profile case remains unsolved.
We all want to understand why this happened and what drove someone to do this.
Investigators say they've received an outpouring of tips since the murders. One report saying victim Kaylee Goncalves may have had a stalker.
We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report.
Another question mark, are the 2 surviving roommates considered suspects in the attack?
We do not believe the following individuals were involved. The 2 surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video.
So I disagree. I think he's still possibly
a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home. Any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call.
In fact, investigators say they have no suspects at all.
No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders.
Officials with the Moscow Police Department say victims 21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, 20-year-old Xana Carnodal, and 20-year-old Ethan Cheapin arrived to an off-campus home at about 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. Gonzalez and Mogan had visited a bar that night and later food truck in downtown Moscow, while Cheapin and Carnodal went to an event at Sigma Chi on campus. Hours after their arrival, at 11:58 a.m., a surviving roommate called 911 to report an unconscious person. Upon their arrival, investigators found all 4 students brutally stabbed to death.
There's no way. There's no way those...
The results of autopsies indicated that the 4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
There's no way. And keep in mind what he just said right there. There was defensive wounds, so they had fought back a little bit, right? Imagine being there asleep and all of a sudden you're getting stabbed to death. Here's the thing. There was screaming. There was a tussle. In my opinion, there is no way those two, unless they were just drunk and completely passed out, the 2 survivors didn't hear anything. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
And there was no sign of sexual assault.
Investigators say it was a targeted attack, but will not explain why they believe that.
We don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have.
Exactly.
There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather.
100% agree.
We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. I mean, to be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point because we're not going to release why we think that.
Bam! Smart guy.
Say more than 100 pieces of evidence were recovered at the scene.
100 pieces.
4,000 photographs taken and hundreds of hours of investigation completed. Anyone with more information about the murders is asked to report it to the FBI's digital tips and media link. For the latest developments in this case and all things true crime...
Man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think... I don't know. A lot of people are bashing these officers in Idaho. It sounds to me like they're doing the smart thing. They're not giving away too much information. They're not jeopardizing the investigation. I think that the Idaho cops are doing really fucking smart. Really good shit, right? Guys, let me know what you think about the Idaho story. Let me know what you think about Billie Joe turning on LeiLani. Do you believe LeiLani will be convicted? I do not, but we will cover that trial. Do you believe the Idaho killer will ever be caught? My man Upgrade says that he doesn't believe so. I think he will. I think this killer will be caught because I think this isn't a random attack. I think this is I do agree. This is a targeted attack by a dude that was rejected by one of these broads and he went to kill him. Period. That's what I truly believe. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, by all means, hit the links down below. We will be live tonight at 8 p.m. on the new live stream channel. You can find the links to all the new channels down below, including the news channel, politics channel, all that good shit. If you want to support this channel, hit those links down below. This is JB Gunner. This is your true crime story for the day. I'll see you next time. Peace out.